Sorry, my phone cut me off. I don't agree with the point that he makes about burying the past because I think that the past should be a point of reference and can never truly be buried because the past has created the sort of person that we are today. I feel like people that have escaped these relationships have escaped them mostly because their souls and their value systems are of a different quality than the people that surrounded them. So, in that sense, we should celebrate the fact that we had the inner resolve to disconnect from the narcissist's value systems because we just as easily could have been remained within that space. But there's something within our spirituality, and that's why I like this channel. It's very spiritual based. It talks about energy. It's different than the typical channel on narcissism in that sense, because we like to talk about categories and codependent, empath, and all that stuff. But this is on a it talks about energy. It talks about spirituality, the law of attraction, these kinds of things, and that's the emphasis. How to be at peace with yourself now that you've escaped the environment. And I must say that I think that for a person that escaped relatively recently, I think the speaker, Rizwan, is doing pretty well. Psychological, at least it seems that way. And I just wanted to talk about the unfortunate circumstance of having children with narcissists because when you're the only person within a family unit that is not a narcissist and you have children that are being constantly manipulated by these narcissists, it's an incredibly difficult situation to be in because your voice is going to be cast aside because he talks about how the narcissist bribes the narcissists that are not in his immediate family, like his mother and his sister, bribe his children so that they would like them more and they would listen to them more than they would listen to their own father, who really has their best interests in mind. So my hope is that in some way you're able to reconnect with your children and that they can see the situation for what it really is one day. I find that at the end of the day, you have your own perceptions, and your perception is much more nuanced than the greater societies on who these people are. You know, I have a boss right now who tolerates narcissists within the workplace, and she's not at all toxic herself. So if you escape these situations, you have to realize that you have a very refined perception of what makes a dirty person. The dirty person is not the one that never gives gifts. The dirty person is the one that gives the gifts in order to take away, in order to steal, in order to create friction and chaos instead of harmony within any sort of environment. And when you know that, when you know evil and distraction and chaos, you're able to come out of these relationships with an understanding of what is harmonious and what is truly noble for yourself as well, what brings you harmony. And I'm finding that I get closer and closer and closer towards the light, and I feel more comfortable within my own skin with every passing day. And that light, I'm feeling within myself, and I'm growing more confident in exhibiting this light energy. So I suggest that you check out this channel. It's different. It's different. It's clear that this person is from another part of the world, because a lot of us are not used to seeing narcissism talked about within the Eastern context, within the South Asian context, even though narcissists are everywhere. And it's interesting how societies deal with them. If in one society it's more acceptable to leave narcissists, and narcissism proliferates easily, other societies are not as accepting of it. It all depends on where you are in the world, I feel. For example, in America, people gossip a lot less than they do in the Ukraine, in the post-Soviet Ukraine, for example. And so I can see how narcissism can really thrive within that culture, and in fact it does, because a lot of people have lived very difficult lives in that society, and I feel like there's a similar phenomenon. I can't be absolutely sure, but there is a Pakistani kind of community within New York City, and I get the sensation, or at least from looking as an observer from the outside in, I feel as though family members are very intertwined, at least when I go to different events. I've met Pakistani women because I used to work at a family law firm, and they told me about the patriarchal order of that society. They also told me that families are very intertwined, that there's a lot of gossip, there's a lot of innuendo within communities. If women don't act a certain way, then they're castigated. If men don't fulfill a certain role, they're also castigated. And this is just coming from some people, but that's just my impression, is that as opposed to Americans, people within those collectivist societies, including Ukraine, they tend to talk about each other's business more than Americans do. And it's considered more normative. That's just my impression. And so it's difficult, I would imagine, to be in Pakistan and be in a family with narcissists, because on the one hand you have family first values that don't work when you have demons around you, because your health is at stake, your life is at stake, and your health and your life need to be put on the first place before you could do anything else. And narcissists are not worth the title of family. They are not family, in fact. They are demons. And they are poisonous, and they poison your life, and they have no concern for you, as we all know. And so, irrespective of where you are, you need to get away from them and have other values, and allow your values to proliferate in any way you can for your own sake and for the sake of everybody else. So that's all I have to say. Check out this channel. Take care.